With half the year officially in the books, in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 games of the half year. But do keep in mind, when you see some of the names on this list, it has to be a game that globally launched in 2024. And dude, it was a bit rough. So let's go ahead and take a look at the top 10 mobile games of the half year. Come take a walk with me. So starting this list off cold, and I mean real cold, is One Punch Man World. And if that doesn't tell you what type of list in 2024 we've had thus far, I don't know what will. It is just absolutely crazy how fast Crunchyroll in this game completely fell off the map. It's basically gotten to the point that even if you like the anime, if you see Crunchyroll's name on it, dude, you better stay away. But apparently, according to some fans of the game is not completely abandoned, even though there's supposed to be some major updates on the way. But dude, even if you've enjoyed the game thus far, you love One Punch Man, when you got that Crunchyroll stank on it, dude, you gotta beware. And then you have a game like Devil May Cry Peak of Combat. Now this game is just devoid of everything that makes a Devil May Cry game. And I mean, really, who is this game for? The console guys aren't gonna rush to mobile to download this game. And us mobile gamers, yeah, we do play some active combat systems, but usually those games are tied to open world games that have something going on. Dude, Devil May Cry Peak of Combat, as good as the combat is, ain't nobody trying to run around these little tiny battle areas fighting the same exact monsters over and over again. Not to mention the game is tied to a gacha, and not just a gacha, a license-based IP gacha, which is the highest level of scumorality that you can achieve. Yeah, that's a real word, and don't bother fact-checking it, and just respect it. And then you got a game like Astra Nights. Now this is one of those games that has just a really die-hard community. Now when you think about a game like Devil May Cry, Peak of Combat, and One Punch Man World, there's no diehards for that game. Ain't nobody going to bat for those games. But Astra Nights, dude, that game got some diehards. You know, an extremely creative graphic style, decent combat if you're into that type of thing. Me, I found it a little repetitive, but the people that got past that initial first half slog of the game swear by the game and are really enjoying it. Now, the Steam charts aren't looking so great, but who knows? Maybe Astra Nights can pose a turnaround one day soon. And then Terrace Land, which was supposed to be a haven for classic MMO lovers. Now, if you don't know the story behind Terrace Land, the only reason why it was created is because World of Warcraft was temporarily banned in China. So they created Terrace Land. Now, let me just say that Terrace Land does tick most of your classic MMO boxes, but unfortunately, they didn't add any new boxes. And the boxes that they took away, such as visual progression, and dude, get this. If you kill enemies in the overworld, they don't drop EXP, they don't drop equipment, gear, droppables, nothing. There is absolutely no reason to interact with the world outside of questing. If you see some enemies, just run past them, dude, which kills all of the exploration of the game. This is basically what you call a dungeon and raiding simulator, and in my opinion, if you like doing that whole dungeon and raiding treadmill, you might as well just play World of Warcraft Classic. Now that doesn't mean that there's no reason to play Terrace Land. I'd play it if I had time, because I'm totally into like sightseeing MMOs. So dude, if you do want to play Terrace Land, just play it like the theme park MMO that it is. Now Squad Busters is the most mobile game on this mobile gaming list. You know, like the traditional mobile game, the type of game that you play in just quick bursts if you're waiting in line or you're taking number 2, you know what I'm saying? But the contrast to that, if you're looking for a game that you can play for hours on end, this is really not that type of game that you want to play unless you have some deep pockets, and even then, I don't feel like it's a real good use of your money. Because remember, at its very core, this is an IO game, and you should definitely treat it as such. Now, I find the minute-to-minute PvP gameplay pretty rewarding to play, but if you're not like a PvP player, there's really nothing here. There's literally only one gameplay mode. Yeah, there's lots of different flavors of that one gameplay mode, but that's really pretty much it. Now, even though I love it as a mobile game, it's not all perfect. There is lots of talk about how gold is so pay to win, but do note the developers have acknowledged it. And when it comes to gaming, dude, a developer just acknowledging something, dude, that's half the battle. And then we come to the very first game that I still have installed on this list, and you guys know that's the highest stamp of approval that FG can give, is Cookie Run Tower of Adventures. Now, the game starts off as a bit of a slog. The first half of the game is definitely the weakness, but you know, stick with it, get past chapter 2 on to chapter 3, and dude, the game really starts to click. The stage design is super creative, and I'm not the type of person that really likes, you know, hunting through stages trying to find secrets, but the way it's done here in Cookie Run Tower of Adventures is actually really rewarding. Not to mention, something about these cookies, man, make the typical gacha, you know, grind for resources, power up your heroes, just more satisfying. I don't know, maybe it's the personality. The cookies are just so darn charming. However, it's not all perfect here in the world of Cookie Run Kingdom. You know, my favorite gameplay mode is raiding, but it does seem a little tedious. Hopefully the developers have a plan for that. And even though I'm playing the game and I bought the battle pass, I'm part of the problem. Dev Sisters, you cannot be locking quality of life behind paywalls, suckers! Yes, if you want to sweep stages as a free free-to-play player, yes, you can do it. However, the skip ticket economy is mad stingy. If you want to have free skips, you gotta buy the battle pass, and I assume every single season you gotta re-up that battle pass. Come on, dev sisters. I still like the game though. And then you have Star Wars Hunters, a third-person hero shooter. And dude, I really can't say much bad about this game, right? It ticks all the boxes that you want from a third-person hero shooter. It's in third person, it's starring a really good IP in Star Wars. Yeah, there's no iconic Star Wars characters in it, but you know what? The characters that they did create all fit into the world just fine. The 4 characters I used when I was playing the game all felt impactful. All the abilities, the special effects, the ultimates. Dude, I really can't say much bad about Star Wars Hunters. In fact, if you're the type of player that's really competitive and you're kind of looking for a game like this could be your #1 game. But it really just depends on how good matchmaking stays, right? These games kind of live and die by their matchmaking, but they really did set themselves up for success. You got Android, you have iOS, and you have crossplay with Nintendo Switch as well. So who knows, dude? The future might be really bright for Star Wars Hunters. Now, you can't convince me otherwise that AFK Journey is not an absolute labor of love. Like, dude, they could have absolutely just phoned it in. With AFK Arena being as popular as it is, all they really had to do was just make a by the numbers AFK Arena 2, but they didn't do that. Great character designs, a solid story, solid update schedule. Yeah, you may or may not like the season-based format, but I gotta applaud them for doing something different. You know, when you play a gacha game for such a long time, you get to the point where you're like, dude, I've kind of done everything. All I'm doing is just making my numbers go slightly up. When you have that season-based aspect, you have a reason to log in every day. You have a reason to enjoy why you enjoy these games in the first place, powering up characters and completing content, right? So after everything is said and done, is AFK Journey gonna be the trendsetter that AFK Arena was? Maybe it's a little too early to tell, but nobody, and FG means nobody, can say that this game has a lack of effort by any stretch of the imagination. It might not be for everybody, but dude, this is a high quality game. Say what you want to say about Solo Leveling Arise, but it is a well-made game. Great subject matter, great graphics, combat. There's literally no other game that plays quite like Solo Leveling Arise on the mobile platform. And not to mention, the community seems very happy with the development, communication, back and forth between the community. So you would be absolutely forgiven. And FG don't blame you for overlooking that Netmarble level of scumorality. Dude, it is so wild here in 2024 that you can pay a monthly sub for a game to unlock your quality of life. Yeah, this is another one of those games where you have to pay a monthly sub to maintain quality of life features. Think about it this way. If you gave Solo Leveling Arise or Cookie Run Tower Adventures $1,000 this month, but next month you decide, you know what, I'm just gonna go free to play, they would take all your quality of life away from you. Isn't that crazy? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. I know a lot of people hated VIP when VIP was the thing, but at least if you were like VIP 5, you maintain your VIP level forever. You never had to worry about it. But here, dude, they want their money every single month. But with all that being said, Solo Leveling Arise is such a unique experience on the back of such a beloved webtoon. It is easily one of the best games released thus far. And surprising absolutely nobody, the #1 game released thus far this year is Withering Waves, especially with patch 1.1. A lot of the early criticisms are starting to be addressed when it comes to the streamlining, the story flow, the economy when it comes to the upgrades. But of course, not everything has been fixed. This is a live service, so this is going to be an iterative process. I know the optimization isn't still quite right yet, but I feel like Kuro Games has absolutely shown the world that this game is not only a contender for one of the best games released on mobile almost ever, that this is also going to be a game that's going to stick around for a long time. EOS by the end of the year? Who said that nonsense? I saw you crazy Redditors. So hopefully Kuro Games continues to work on the optimization, get those mobile players up to speed, and this game is going to be around for a very long time. And I'm about to make a bold declaration. Yeah, I'm about to say it. Withering Waves being the #1 game released thus far this year is not that big of an accomplishment, but let me say this. I feel like by the end of the year, when I'm making my top 10 mobile games of 2024, I feel like Withering Waves is still gonna be #1.